We're on the field post-game here at Spillane, and welcome out to Gatemen post-game live episode. I'm not sure, but your usual suspects 22. On hand. 22. Usual suspects on hand tonight. Matt Feld, our beat writer, Jacob Toby, and Andre Sims. I'm Jake Garcia. Thanks for joining us once again. Wareham wins it by the final score of 5-4 over Orleans tonight. Going to highlight some individual performances, and I guess we'll start with Adrian Tovalin, whose go-ahead two-run double in the 8th inning was just a sign of him continuing to rake.
Yeah, I had a home run yesterday versus YD and hits this one to the opposite field, which we know he's been working on a lot this season. He was very happy. Obviously, maybe the hottest hitter in the lineup right now for the Wareham Gatemen, showcasing his power to all fields. He cranked the ball out to center field yesterday, and you're just showing his power, the ability for him to pull to all fields and really get everything going. And also, you know, he's trying to adjust to this Cape League pitching. It's taken a long time for him, but he's finally getting there, and Jerry Weinstein acknowledged that.
Jeff Bain got the start tonight. It turns out he didn't even record the most innings from this Wareham staff. That honor went to Dalton Horton, and Andre Sims. You're going to touch on him.
Yeah, he looked very good and a pretty, like you said, extended relief outing for this Gatemen team. Came in, I believe it was 4 2/3 total that he went through tonight, and he looked very good. I mean, gave up 2 runs. Only one of them was earned, though, but he was attacking the strike zone. He was able to work out of a couple jams in the game. So I was impressed with his outing, and this is a guy that could factor in as a long relief role for this team going into the playoffs. He was a starter at TCU, so can go the length that Jerry Weinstein would potentially need him to in a playoff game, especially deeper into the playoffs. So if he can continue to pitch like he pitched tonight, I'm sure Jim Lawler and Jerry Weinstein would be more than happy with that performance.
We saw the newest member of this Gatemen roster in action tonight, Jonathan Pryor. What'd you see out of him, Matt?
Well, not much tonight, to be quite frank with you, but I'm just going to talk about – well, I mean, I believe he flew out in one at-bat and he walked in another one. So it's no disrespect. It was just – didn't go 2 for 2 with 2 dingers or anything like that. I'm just going to talk about what he brings to the team, and what he does bring to the team is if you can start him in right field, maybe mix and match with Robbie Metz, and you have the opportunity to bring someone like Metz off the bench. I mean, Metz is a Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star, and if you have the opportunity to bring someone like that off your bench to combine with Sanchez, that's 2 speedsters that can both play the outfield, and especially in terms of Metz's position, he can also play the infield, and it's terrific in the late innings to have those top-of-the-line versatile guys that you can really rely on, 7th, 8th, 9th inning. So I'm really excited to see what he brings to the table. He's a center fielder in right field, so that covers a lot of ground. And then if you have Sanchez in left field, I mean, you're probably not going to find 3 faster outfielders combined in the Cape League. And he also can alleviate some pressure off Alex Destino. And it's just clear when Destino's running to first base that he's having a lot of trouble getting down there. He's still being able to put the ball in play with some authority, but he's got no running game whatsoever, and that's just because of his hamstrings. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the team balances that and Destino's legs going forward.
Before we get to hot takes, I'll touch on Joey Bart. He came out with a vengeance tonight. His average had slipped below 300 on the season. It was at 297. Has an RBI single his first time up, 2 RBI home run his next time up as Ryan Summer just knocked our camera. That's all right, though. It was Bart's 2nd home run of the season, and for him, just a sign that he's continuing to rake and not going to let the slump that he recently fell into. It was a minor one, but not letting that affect him whatsoever. So hot takes, everyone. Andre, we'll start with you.
Touching a little bit more on Jonathan Pryor, he did something in the game that I want to touch on that was a really, really smart play on his part. When Ezekiel Sanchez went to steal third, and this is something that Jerry Weinstein talked about post-game, he doesn't really know the signs. It wasn't a double steal called. He had the mental IQ to be able to recognize, okay, that throw is going to third base, I can now take second. And that ultimately proved huge in the fact this ended up being a 1-run game. So that second run scoring is the difference. So having the baseball IQ to make that decision to take second base on the back end of what ultimately ended up being a very crucial double steal, that just shows a very smart mind from Jonathan Pryor, and I think that is a huge acquisition to this team.
I guess I'll go. I'm one to react very quickly to situations that happen, and I know we're not going to go. I know we're not going to go too far into playoff predictions for teams yet, but I'm going to say that Adrian Tovalin will have a clutch hit in one of the playoff games that will come up. He had a clutch hit tonight in the 8th inning, and I think he's going to go clutch again one more time.
Clutch doesn't exist. Matt Feld.
And I'm going to have an iced coffee tomorrow. What else is new? No, well, I was tested back after the Gatemen fell to the Falmouth Commodores by, I believe, a score of 12-3, whether I still thought the Gatemen would win the Western Division. And here I stand with 2 games to go in the regular season. I will stand by that prediction. We won't go
in the playoffs.
Yeah.
In the playoffs.
Yes,
okay.
yes. I won't go too far in depth for my reasoning why. I mean, I will give a hint. If Pasatino pitches the first game, then Gatemen wouldn't have to face him in the second round, but that's neither here nor there. I think all in all, this team has shown, especially defensively, some severe improvement, especially in the infield when you have that. We've talked about it consistently. Preston Grand Prix at third base, Giratano at short, Freeman at second, and I expect that to be the starting infield come playoff time with Tovalin switching off at the DH spot depending on who the opposing pitcher is, and that is just such an advantage. We've seen teams struggle that Wareham's played really struggle. I mean, in the first play of the game, Cole Freeman hits a ground ball to third base that the third baseman can't handle, and that leads to a run. We've seen some crucial errors from some Gatemen opponents this year in some bad times, and if Wareham has the opportunity to make those plays that some opponents aren't, that can be a huge difference, and as Andre said, a one-run game like tonight.
All right, I'm not sure if I have a hot take tonight, so I think that about does it. This game was meaningless for both of these teams, and we found that out in the third inning. After Brewster lost, it allowed Orleans to clinch the 3 seed in the West. Wareham's already clinched the 2 seed. No, Orleans is in the East. The 3 seed in the East, and Wareham clinched the 2 seed in the West yesterday. So coming into this one, not a whole lot to play for if you're Wareham, not a whole lot to play for tomorrow and the following day, but who knows? Maybe they can work on a few things, get some guys some extra playing time at positions maybe they normally wouldn't play, rest some guys whose legs may be hurting them as well. So for everyone here at our WCTV crew, to all of you watching back at home, thanks so much. This has been Gatemen Postgame Live as Wareham tops Orleans tonight 5-4.